In this video today, I'm going to be answering a bunch of your questions. Let's get it. Boom.
Yeah. I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumedh Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today, I'm going to be answering a bunch of different questions for you guys, okay? So the first question that I got was basically to know about the flow state basics, and I believe it was Joey. Joey was asking me about, what is exactly the flow state and how can I get started on this journey, as well as, he's got a couple of mixed messages from people about what the flow state is. Now, there's a reason for this because the flow state is a subjective state, so everybody experiences it differently. There are specific factors like, clear goals, immediate feedback that we can start to create preconditions for. We can understand that selflessness, timelessness, effortlessness, and richness of the environment are places to start. But generally, flow state is a very subjective state, right? So everybody's going to have their own interpretive way that they experience it. Some people will explain it very qualitatively, some quantitatively, right? Some more in the left brain, some more in the right brain. Maybe someone has a specific task and there's a specific jargon associated with that craft, specific to their flow state. Like a painter isn't going to experience flow state similar to an adventure sports athlete, for instance. You get what I'm saying? But there's still a honing in, there's still a focus. So you want to think of heightened focus, a feeling of creativity, a feeling of oneness or being connected with what you're doing, very, very deep mindful presence, deep present joy. Basically, the way I describe it is you feel your best and you perform your best. That's how Stephen Kotler described it first, and I think that's a great way to just explain it to anybody really, coming across this flow state thing. And they want to get more of an understanding of what it is and how I can tap into it. There was another question about how can I access it more, right? How can I access flow state more in my day? Instead of me telling you how to access it more, let me give you a tool, or let me give you a little exercise that can help you access flow state more. And it will help you almost see the world like a movie. Okay, this is how I see the world. I see the world like a movie. And it's very empowering when you can do this, because you will start to notice that you have this cocktail party effect, right? This ability to zoom into conversations that are very, very important and tune out the conversations that are extraneous. You can use your RAS, or your reticular activating system, really well when you can manage this, okay? So basically, I want you to have your finger out like this, okay? And simply, I just want you to stare at your finger and almost haze your eyes and just trying to hone out everything else besides the tip of your finger, okay? Breathe into your belly. Keep breathing deep into your belly. Now what I want you to do is, instead of looking with your eyes, I want you to look and pay attention to behind your eyes, behind your eyeballs, as you're looking and you're still breathing. Your finger is shaking, hand is aching. Breathe into it deeper, breathe into it more. And slowly make sure that your finger starts fading out and you look beyond your finger now. So now your finger is going to become hazy, and whatever you're looking at in front of your finger is going to become crisp. So do that with your eyes. Keep breathing deep. Until it becomes like a subtitle, like you're watching a movie and there's a subtitle in the background. That's how I want your finger to become, like a subtitle. Again, coming back to the pressure behind your eyes. Now feel the outline of your body. Good. Very good. So that's a quick way you can access flow state more, right? So instead of that exercise of actually using your finger, you have this ability now to look from behind your eyeballs, behind your eyes, and use that skill set in your daily life to fade everything in, zoom everything out. Our eyes are almost like a camera lens, so you can haze it and make it clearer, haze it and make it clearer. I always had this skill set. We all have this skill set. We can blur our eyes when we want to, which is this magical skill set actually, right? We can blur eyes, clear eyes, crisp eyes, blur eyes, clear eyes, blur eyes, clear eyes. And so imagine like these are your camera lens. So whatever you're looking at is being recorded like a camera. So now you're gonna make your life much more conscious of you using your flow state, right? So that's how you can access it more. I mean, I just gave you a technique. There's way more ways to access it, right? But one of the things to really understand about flow state is it's not easily replicable, okay? If you can do it lots of times, right? That's fine, but flow state by itself is something that requires a lot of skill, right? A lot of technique. So you need mastery in creating flow until it becomes unconscious competence, right? Which is that learning state, the final stage of learning where it's second nature to you, where it's a lot more subconscious to you, right? You don't have to force it, but it's effortless. That's where the effortlessness comes in. Josh Bailey, I think you asked me about Flow headphones. Okay, I know you asked it here as well as in the group. So about Flow headphones, man, and about any flow state technologies, my opinion of them, I think they're a great supplement. I think that they're cool. It depends on the brand though. I'll have to look at the science behind it a little bit to get that legitimacy, you know, that ability to be like, okay, yeah, this is a legit brand and they're actually studying flow states, right? As opposed to something just completely random, which has a label of flow on it, right? Because everybody wants to use flow state as a cool buzzword, right? Instead of actually studying like what's behind it and what the science is and, right? The gravitas of flow. My opinion is that I think once we get back to learning about ourselves, our own minds, and our own bodies and how we can get into flow state much more naturally, the more we will actually be able to create better products, better technologies. So first of all, are those people honed in on their own craft, right? It's difficult to say that. It's difficult to say that are these people high performers or are these people, you know, very tuned in to what is going on. I would say that experiment with it. I love experimentation with different things. You got to find one that works for you, right? Each of our brains works very differently, though they have the similar mechanisms. We all have different inputs and stimuli, so it's really about, you know, fine-tuning it for you. For example, you know, I'm listening to a subliminal program now, which has a lot of peer-reviewed studies and a lot of science behind this program, right? And as I begin this journey, you guys are going to start to notice my change throughout this process, but it goes for 4 months, essentially the whole program, right? So now from 4 months till now, it's going to be like my birthday. And so you're going to see a big shift in my archetype and how I behave and how I act. And I'm going to slowly become more towards the character that I prefer to be. And I think that it's really important to journal. So I'm actually journaling each day about my process that's happening right now. So I think it's really important because that's when we really start to track the metrics of what is changing, right? What exactly is going on here, right? The first process is called total breakdown, right? Where the subliminal actually destroys every single limiting belief and trauma that you've had so that you have a clean slate. It's like taking down whatever building in your subconscious mind and building a skyscraper as it demolishes it over it, right? But the skyscraper can't be built yet if there's underlying trauma or wounding. So actually the past 2 days as I've begun this process, I've been feeling a lot of the shadow work come back and being triggered and noticing my feeling of intensity. Today actually I had a client, but I had to move it to later because my Wi-Fi wasn't working. It's as if the universe wants me to heal, right, during this time. It's weird. It's like creating the opportunities for me to use space and use this space to heal myself and really get rid of any underlying traumas that are keeping me stuck. Because trauma is one of the core blockages of flow state. You know what I mean? Like, Each of our past wounds or traumas, they keep us in the past. They keep us stuck, right? They keep us energetically charged. They keep us emotionally connected, right? We have emotional cords to other people and things like this. So it's really, really important that you do this deep release trauma work. If you're interested in that subliminal, I can definitely send it over to you. Obviously, you got to pay for it, but it is such a powerful program from what I'm already experiencing in 2 days. So powerful stuff. Back to flow state technologies. You know what? Any technology needs to be tried and tested over a long period of time, right? It's the same thing I think about with like vaccines and stuff like that. It's like you come in with that, it's like, yeah, you need time for this thing to actually be tested, right? To notice the effects that they are having. Okay, whenever you come in with a new product, it's like it's gonna have a bit of skepticism to it. That's okay. I would still experiment and try, different things, but not things that are specifically, harmful in a sense, but I'm not one to tell you that, you know what I mean? Like, oh, that's harmful, stay away from it. Look, you can do whatever you do. It's your body, it's your mind, right? So experiment with all sorts of things, but just make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into, right? This flow state journey is not for the faint-hearted, right? You really need that strong mental resilience. Speaking of that, I know that somebody asked me about mental strength and the importance of mental strength. Now, the thing about mental strength, the way I see it is, how are you able to handle challenges? How are you able to handle adversity, right? How are you able to handle, like, if just something random shows up and hits you out of the blue, like, man, life does that to us sometimes, right? It throws us a curveball. But mental strength is this ability where you can catch the curveballs. So what is it about? It's about having the skills, okay? The skill sets. A lot of people, they feel like, oh, I'm an introvert. You don't have the social skills to be an extrovert. Do you guys get what I'm saying? I believe that anything can be trainable, right? Like, we can train ourselves and retrain ourselves towards the person that we truly want to be. It's just about becoming conscious about the process, noticing the feedback that you're getting in a slight way, minor way. Don't take feedback so personally into heart. Just take it as a minor, like, adjustment or a tweak or a refinement, right? And then you just keep moving forward. One way that I would highly suggest that you get into your own mental strength is to watch people who already have it. Listen to podcasts of people who already have it. You're gonna start to internalize their energy as you slowly start watching more of these people like Jocko Willink or David Goggins. These people, start watching these people, right? Because then you're gonna start seeing that, and then you're gonna start being like, wow, whew, I feel a bit of their energy today, right? Watson Fit, like these guys, they have this energy to them. They have this intensity to them and this mental strength, grit to them, okay? Grit is a better indicator of flow state than growth mindset, okay? Like grit, the ability to like not get pushed down by life, is an incredible indicator of flow state, right? So that's why I bring up the aspect of mental strength and probably why you are curious about it or brought it up, okay? Next thing is, someone asked me about seeking approval. How do I stop seeking approval? This is about the first layer of any self-healing journey. I believe it's Elias, right? You asked me this a while back. The thing is, you're going to have to get to that giving energy and that energy expansion rather than energy draining. You might be around certain people, certain environments that are energy draining, right? So from that, you want to seek their approval and you feel like you're actually getting energy from them. But the thing is, you're not, right? So you have to be really mindful of your tribe and the people that you're hanging around first and foremost. Second thing is understand you got to be internally validated, right? Meaning you got to love yourself so much that it overrides the love that you seek from others. That people pleaser mentality comes from a space where you have a wounded feminine energy. And if you have control freak tendencies, you have a wounded masculine, right? This is a way to understand it very, very easily, right? So once you understand that, I have some wounded feminine aspects, this is about my connection to my mother. If you just go there and you just deal with that, it's going to do leaps and bounds for your own healing. You don't even need years of therapy to do this. You can actually do this by yourself, but it takes some practice and it takes some attunement. Attunement meaning you got to know how another person is feeling and really what's going on in their mind, right? Because males and females communicate differently. As you're having a conversation with your mother, she might be more in her feelings rather than her words that she's saying in the moment, right? Like I got an argument with my mom yesterday. She's like, you got to know how you appear. You have an inferiority complex, right? Because you're dyeing your hair blonde or something like that. Something along those lines, like you're rejecting your Indian culture because you're dyeing your hair. You want to look like them. Okay? So I understood that this is her own internal world and worldview and frame, right? She's feeling bad because she doesn't want other people to talk about me as if I'm going against my Indian heritage, things like this, right? So I completely understand that, but at the end of the day, as you guys know on this channel, I'm a freaking outlaw, right, as my archetype. So I'm going to do what I'm going to do at the end of the day anyway. But it's just about making her understand that and coming to a consensus, right? Coming to that midpoint where we both meet in the middle and we understand each other. And once that understanding, first seek to understand and then be understood, right? Stephen Covey, one of the best lessons that I could ever give anybody in terms of relationships. First, seek to understand. In my life, I always had this thing where I was like, man, I feel misunderstood. As an artist, I'm sure you felt this many times, right? Oh, I feel misunderstood. Nobody gets me. What's going on in here? I can't fully express what's in here out there. I get it. Trust me, I get it. I've been there. But trust me, it's about, first of all, not appearing interesting, but being interested in the person. And don't mind read. Don't be like, oh, they're going to say this. Just actually open your mind towards the state of like, okay, I don't know what they're going to say. They might be saying something completely different. If I ask them for a request, they might as well just say yes. But you've got to be certain in your own values and in your own character. That's why I keep coming back to character, why it's so crucial. So in order for you to actually break out of this seeking approval mentality, you got to first acknowledge that, I seek approval, right? I feel validated when an incredibly beautiful woman talks to me. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to just be like, no, I'm cool. I feel completely secure right now. I'm not going to do that because I know my truth and I'm going to lean into that edge until I break past it and barricade over it and process and heal it, right? I'm going to release the effects that are taking place within me instead of running from it and hiding from it. That's what we do as people, man. We get so used to running and hiding that becomes our norm. And then we don't do the inner work and healing to actually take care of it, okay? So I would highly suggest that you take care of it. So again, I know I'm going off a topic a little bit, but seeking approval, first of all, it's not about stopping to seek approval. It's like understanding that I'm complete, I am whole as I am. And that feeling of completeness happens from you doing healing work. You going inwards, you doing meditation, you having a connection with your mind and body and finding a synergy between those two. It's about loving that little archetype part of you that's still a people pleaser nice guy and giving him a big old hug. It's about that, man, right? It's really about that. That's the whole journey that we've been on, right? So the fact you're asking that question, it means you're closer towards the path of actually healing it. So thank you, brother. Brother, I got your message. It was a message that you commented on my YouTube comment in my previous video from yesterday. And the thing is, I don't know why, but it's not letting me reply to the comment. And so I gotta respond to you in this video, okay? What you asked me about is, first of all, you thanked me for the video. Thank you for thanking me. I appreciate being appreciated. And you also said that you had a dream about you masturbating, right? And you asked me, what does that mean, essentially? Like, what is the meaning of that? Listen, man, I am just a positive psychologist, right? I'm not some kind of dream interpreter, analyst, like psychoanalyst type of dude. I study this stuff because I'm interested in it. So let me first frame it like that, right? And let me just say that dreams are fascinating and dreams are interesting. Maharishi Mahesh Yogi says that dreams are just a way that we release stress unconsciously, right? So just a process of stress relief and processing our traumas and processing our difficulties and processing our shadows or repressed things that we've kept hidden. So from what you're telling me okay, you saw yourself masturbating, I think it could be two things and it could go both ways. And these are just interpretations, right? Don't take this as fact, but this might be something for you to explore. One is the fact that you might be repressing your lust. You might have had a chance at a sexual encounter with somebody, but you've held that in and you're not allowing yourself to do that, or something is holding you back. You're repressing or suppressing your sexual desire or your energy, and so you're masturbating in your dream. That's number one. Number two is, and this is just a maybe, it could be a reminder from your subconscious mind, a reminder, right? Coming back to mind. It's a reminder for you to deal with your desires or your needs, right? To process your desires and your needs. So clearly you want something and you desire something. This doesn't have to be sexual in any way, right? I'm looking at this strictly as a metaphor, because what is masturbation? You're giving yourself pleasure, right? So that means you might be going through some pain. So why do we want to have pleasure? It's because we want to go away from pain, right? So the thing is, what is the need, and how does that need signify some kind of lack? Okay. Again, this could be that you're on a nofap streak or something like that, and it's just showing up through a sex dream, right? That could be it too. But anytime that I've had a sex dream, or I've noticed this, it's always been when I've been going inwards, when I've been really doing my deep healing work, right? I've been getting sex dreams, and they're awesome, man. You know, let's not hide and just, hide behind the fact that sex dreams are weird, or like, oh, unless they are really weird, then definitely, yeah. It's like if you're having sex with some weird entity or something. But in the case of just like it's a nice dream, it's a sexual dream, there's nothing frightening or inherently upsetting about it. It's okay. It's just your mind is just processing some information that you've been hiding. So it's completely fine. Your mind is actually doing the work for you. Your mind is doing the healing work for you, so you don't need to worry about that, brother, okay? All you need to do is just be aware of what your needs are, what your desires are, and be freely to express those and understand them, and not repress them, not push them down and hide and keep them in shame and guilt, which are the lower levels of consciousness, right? That's all I'm saying, brother. I hope that helped you out and gave you some new perspective. And again, thank you so much for everybody who've asked me questions. I'll definitely get to more in the future, but these are the ones that came up for me now. I know I had a lot of DMs coming in. I haven't checked a lot of them, but if you ever do have a question, oh yeah, one last question I got about shamanism. Okay, shamanism. Very brief about shamanism. The way that I understand it, it's our connection to the spirit world, right? So once you understand that shamans had this connection to this realm through entheogens, through rituals, through dances, through different ways of connecting through animals. They wore animal skins, like a literal werewolf, right? They're wearing a wolf. So they understood the power of this, and they understood the power of our native land and ancestry and all of these kinds of things. So I think they're pulling from this realm. I think that's what shamans do. I think that's what they are. I believe a lot of neo-shamans have been through death and they've been reborn, meaning their heart has actually stopped beating and they've gone through a near-death experience, and then they've been reborn into this world as a shaman. Okay, like Shaman Durek, for instance, he explains this journey where he went to heaven and came back, essentially, right? So this is kind of how the shamanic world works, in a sense. There, you have a deep connection to this world of the divine, or this ethereal realm, okay, the quantum realm, you could say. That's what I have to say about shamanism for right now. I will be putting out more extensive videos about each of these topics if I want to later on in the future. I hope this helps you out. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. Let's crush it today. Boom.